Welcome to the Apex Sunday podcast, hosted by myself, Robert Ross, and John Dowsett, Charlie Walker. And today we're going to be talking about the first race of the 2026 season in Australia. And before we get into, all the craziness there, I'd like to talk to Charlie briefly about how you introduced me into F1 by pulling out a Betamax tape, putting it in your video player, and showing me Spa when Michael Schumacher won his first race. And the thing that impressed me was seeing those high-nose Benettons go through Eau Rouge. I thought, oh, those are really cool-looking cars, and that's a really cool-looking corner, like a really spectacular corner. And of course, that's when I saw Senna. He was going in and out of the pits. He just got the tires wrong each time because the rain was variable that race. I remember Michael winning it because he spun or something, and Brundle went by him, and he looked at Martin's rear tires and said, "Time for slicks." He went in, switched to slicks. Had Brundle done that, he would have won his one and only race, and Michael won the race. And I was watching, I think the next race was Italy. And then I can't remember this race after that, but my sister Tracy had been watching, and she was already correcting Murray Walker when he's getting the drivers wrong. So
he's
you remember that?
The wall again.
Yeah. Did you put that on just for fun, or do you remember that?
No, I think I remember. It was actually, I think it was out with you and the usual group of people on like a Saturday or Sunday night or whatever. And I can remember coming home late and turning on. Remember CBC used to broadcast the races like late at night.
Yeah.
And I remember Monaco in '91 was playing, and I saw coming out of the tunnel, Stefano Modina's engine blew up. He had a Tiro Honda. And I remember Riccardo Patrese was the guy following him, or it might have been reversed. I can't remember. But one engine blew up, and the other driver skidded on the oil.
Yep.
And I remember thinking to myself, "Holy crap, that's cool!" It's just the way. And
right.
I was hooked ever since. It was just it just seems so crazy that these cars are driving around in the city, and especially those cars back then. The '90s, I think, are some of my favorite cars. So
interesting. I always thought
early '90s.
I thought your father got you into it, but I guess
I went. He took me to Mosport when I was a little kid, and I can remember. I can't say definitively if it was a Grand Prix or not, but I got photographs of me in the '70s with my little Mosport sun hat on, and standing at one of the corners. And but I remember something about the cars at that point. Kind of, it really. You've been, Rob, to some of the live races. There's something about it live that hits you far more than watching it on TV. So but I'd like to think maybe a bit of the bug. I caught a bit of the bug back then, but it was really '91 when I really started to watch it.
Right. And John, you've got us beat. Both of us beat. From you were watching it since you were a kid, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, no, because it wasn't aired. But I started following it in '68.
Right.
And there was.
I was born in '69.
Well, do you want to give me your social insurance number too, and your mom's maiden name? I remember Bruce McLaren was my guy. I mean, here's this incredible man who not only built the cars but raced the cars and did it, from nothing. And he came from a very humble beginning, and he was my hero. And so was Graham Hill, and back then, and there was a man by the name of Eon Young who wrote for Road and Track, and he wrote, and Rob Walker as well. And they wrote these huge reports on Formula One, every race. And, I would wait with bated breath for my Road and Track to arrive, and always asked for it for Christmas or my birthday. read it from cover to cover. And then they started airing it, and that was just bliss to me. And I went to Can-Am races, and
Right. At Mosport, right?
At Mosport, yeah.
And then eventually you actually raced at Mosport.
I did.
In which
In
so
GT.
what category? GT?
GT, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And in your third season, you won the championship.
No, second.
Second. Okay.
Yes. I came in second in my first season, and won my second season, and came in second in my third season, and won the nationals as well.
Okay.
In the rain, which was just heavenly.
Right.
Yeah.
And is Mosport, of all the Canadian circuits you've raced, is Mosport still your favorite?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're probably 5. It's in the top 5 in the world for me. Okay. I'd put it up there with Spa. I really would.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, cool. So we have new rules, new cars, new engines, new teams, one new driver, and Lindblad. So before we get into, the reaction to the new rules and, the sort of like almost extreme reactions, either really happy with them or really against them. In qualifying, I want to say, like, Mercedes fixing that car in time for qualifying Kimi's car was quite incredible. But of course, because they had to redirect people and staff to build the car, they forgot to take out the radiator coolers and produce that incident with Lando Norris hitting the debris, or causing the debris, I guess, by hitting it. And John and I have extensively discussed penalties and rules, and how, a few years ago, a decade ago, there wasn't these constant penalties and constant complaining and rules. But I thought it was fine just to fine Mercedes for that. And I do think that that's kind of a clear rule to, they screwed up, give them a fine, but they don't need to punish the driver. What are your thoughts on that particular incident of the weekend?
I agree. I mean, penalties are just I disagree with you. I mean, penalties have been around forever. But the way they've been meted out has changed.
Yeah.
My favorite era, and it was so very brief, was when they decided to bring in retired F1 drivers to be the people who made the decision, who looked at, they'd be the chief steward, and they'd look at it and they go, I'll give him a penalty. That's just racing. That's
on site too, right? They're on site. They're not somewhere else. Yeah.
That's all gone now. And that's sad. That we need that back. I think. Yeah.
And Charlie, do you think a fine is good enough for this type of infraction, or because sometimes they do seem to penalize drivers?
Yeah, it's I don't know. There's a level of professionalism that I think that kind of goes against. Like, really, it's a 9L leaf blower essentially left in a
Black and Decker.
Yeah. So yeah, that's an oversight. I think that should, but I think a fine is enough.
Yeah.
Grid position or something would have been silly.
Yeah, it's not. You almost said significant there. Like, it was like $7,500. It's Mercedes, like, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
If you two want to talk about all the noise about people complaining about the new formula, which it is, you go right ahead. I was chatting with Patrick Pontier. I don't know if you know who he is. Earlier today, and he wrote this beautiful note on social media saying, "Drop it, guys. It's been this way forever," and went through years and years and all these different changes of all the different things, all the ways that cars have been developed because of racing, and it will always be the same. And the drivers are going to complain too, because they have to learn something new. So we're going to hear it from them. And now, because of Liberty Media, we've got a bunch of fanboys out there and fangirls that, oh my God, they're poor Max Verstappen, doesn't like the car, so it's got to be bad. I mean, I basically said that's what it is. And I'm a fan of racing, and they have to adapt. So I don't really
that's basically what I was going to say. Like, it did remind me of the old days when I remember a race in Kyalami where only 5 cars finished. The new fans at least have been spoiled by the massive increase in reliability. Reliability is just, it's off the charts compared to 2 decades ago. And they're not used to a massive rule change like this. I mean, there was the one for the previous one in, what was that, 21?
No,
but it didn't seem to.
I think the last big one was like 2014 or something.
Like really massive change, right? Yeah. So to me, I was actually impressed by Audi, the Audi engine. I was impressed by Cadillac, even though they were behind and parts are falling off. At least they ran. We'll get to Aston Martin and Honda in a moment. I was impressed by the Red Bull powertrain. I was shocked. I know they hired a bunch of Honda guys, and Ford has increased their role. Originally, it was supposed to be just the electronics, but when they first started working together, they just said, "Oh, we can help you here, and there." They've done a great job. And then Lindblad, the new rookie, he really impressed me. So it wasn't as bad as, it wasn't this sort of disaster where, almost no one finished and so forth. Having said that, there were a lot of safety car or virtual safety cars because of breakdowns here and there, but that's what I expected. But we still had 16, 17 finishers. So my message to everyone was just relax. They're going to adjust. Don't freak out yet. And the drivers, I mean, one of the things that really has bothered me is the radio, and just, oh, he touched me, or he pushed me towards this. There's, every pass is a complaint now. That sours it to me. So I think that's the kind of culture that's been built up now, where everything is a complaint. I don't know. What do you think, Charlie?
Anybody in particular? George is, who is it that he called out early in the race there? I think so. Yeah.
George is famous for it, but so is Max. I mean,
George,
and how much do we hear? I mean, I bet you there's a whole whack of it that we don't get on the broadcast. And I don't go when I've got F1 TV, and I don't go from driver to driver to driver. But it gets a little bit. He changed direction under braking. Track limits. Corner 3.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think back to that Arnaud and Villeneuve and Dijon in '79, where they were slamming into each other on that last lap, and nobody seemed to complain then. They seemed to enjoy it. I think they both they sort of congratulated each other afterwards. And I don't know. Of course, there is a high price to pay for an open wheel race car slamming into another one, but but a little bit tire rubbing is, I don't think it's as big a deal as some of the drive. I think they're playing a bit of a game sometimes with these comments, because they know who's listening and and what can be done.
Well, that's the thing, they're playing. And that's like John and I discussed in the MotoGP podcast. Marquez made a move that was penalized, and all the riders said that shouldn't have been a penalty,
including the guy he passed.
And the guy he passed said, I would have done the same thing. So the culture in MotoGP, which is, you would think would be the opposite, because hitting each other in motorcycles is even more dangerous.
Considerably more.
But this culture of complaining is, tied to getting penalties and getting a better result and so forth. And I think as much as Max complains, and his old Red Bull management, I'm not sure about the new one. Max also talks about just racing and a bit of wheel banging and stuff, but he's playing the game that he's in, right? So maybe some of the drivers would like to reduce this kind of culture, but I don't know.
I don't think so. I think they're probably coached to do it now. I mean, the marshals are going to let that go because they, nobody really said anything about it. Nobody really noticed. I don't know.
But I will bring up a thing about a question I have for you guys. These new rules were created to attract manufacturers. So they attracted Audi, they re-attracted Honda, and that's it so far. But, at least Honda didn't, they never really left, but, so in this whole battery and 50-50 thing, I'm going to go on a bit of a Rob rant here. Okay. So I wish, and Max agrees with me, even Lance Stroll said basically the same thing. I wish that we had lighter cars. I mean, they're a bit lighter, smaller, but some of the safety things make them a bit larger. That's fine. I wish we had just a gasoline, like 100% renewable gasoline engine without the battery whatsoever. So it'd be a lot lighter. I am not against electric cars. I'm not against hybrids for passenger cars and so forth. But this is racing. We don't need extra weight. And Toyota, for example, is known as the number one hybrid manufacturer from what mechanics say. They keep updating their hybrid system. It's gotten better and better all the time. Honda's close to them. I don't know about the Americans. Stay away from Nissan. But Toyota doesn't need F1 to do that. Honda doesn't need it either, as far as I'm concerned. So why is it the marketers? Is it the marketing departments of the manufacturers who say, let's get into F1, let's sell our hybrid systems? They're going to offer like 50% hybridization. Like, why is this attractive to the manufacturers? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Charlie.
It is the current. I mean, a lot of them are heading that way hybrid wise. I don't know what's happening with electric over. It seems that they seem to run hot and cold with it, but I guess they need to be able to prove to their board that this can result in some sort of return on investment, and to just put V8s and V10s in there, that's just not the way the industry's going, I guess.
But do you think that people give a what about that? Like,
yes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Like,
it's really simple. Formula One has always been the pinnacle of not just motorsports. I mean, we wouldn't have the ABS that we have today. We wouldn't have seat belts. We wouldn't have rear view mirrors. We wouldn't have all kinds of things that first came out in Formula One. And where are we going? Right. We're going with the greening of the planet. Anybody with any intelligence is going towards the greening of the planet. So one of the rules this year is what's the fuel? Sustainable fuel.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Right. So I think that it now invites those people. It invites those people to market, such as Ford, such as GM, such as Honda,
Audi.
Such as Audi, who are coming in and saying, "Yeah, we know how to do this," and our cars are as well. We care about the planet. Now, when I go to get a sponsor, if they've got a green initiative with their company, I'm going to be able to get their sponsorship. If I don't have a green initiative, I'm not going to get their sponsorship. So I think that, it's marketing, but it's a bit deeper than that. It's sort of it's the pinnacle of technological development. It really is.
Mhm. Well, and then I think if that's the case, then the negative reaction, people need to give it some time and let them adjust. Like they might adjust the way the battery works and so forth. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I just don't think it was is this big, massive disaster that so many people are talking about. I enjoyed a lot of the race. I enjoyed the dicing at the beginning. I enjoyed
Yeah.
Kimi coming up through the field. I enjoyed Max coming up, Arvin doing what he did as a rookie. Uh, I really enjoyed a lot of this stuff, and I thought the Ferraris were pretty close to the Mercedes in race trim. It was great to see Hamilton back, pretty competitive
Yes.
with Leclerc. What did you guys think of the race itself?
I loved it. I loved
Did
it.
you?
I mean, when I saw that dicing at the beginning, I went, man, getting rid of the aero and going to mechanical grip has really done it. Added to that is the 50-50 split in software in feeding in the electric power is going to be mayhem, and the drivers that manage to grasp it and do it quickly are going to win. And
Yep.
those like a few that we saw that spun because they didn't know how to deploy the power, because and was it their fault? Maybe not. Maybe it was, Max. With Max, they're saying it was 100% software, that came in full power right off the bat.
For both, I think it looked like just boom, like the drivers couldn't do anything about it. But again, these kind of technical problems are something that we are all used to from the past. And so what? I mean, it happens.
Right.
What about you, Charlie? Did you enjoy the race?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. The launch off the line that the Ferraris got, I thought was incredible. Like they were in like rocket ships.
Yes.
And I think the only thing that I wasn't too keen on was that 11-12, where it's usually that complex of turns is really a test of a driver, because it's the really high speed medium corners, and all of a sudden now it's lift and coast to charge the battery. And I think one of you had mentioned that you just got to adjust to it. It's just a new way of driving, and I think that's just maybe you slightly change your perspective on what you need to do to be successful in F1. But I thought that was a little odd, because it's one of those in the simulations and the races, it's always that complex of turns where you just sort of grip the wheel tight and hold on, because you're in order to get through there quickly. Like you can go through there well, but to do it really well, you really got to be on it. And now they've just completely removed that element of it from that complex of corners. But maybe it's just a matter of looking at racing slightly differently. I thought there were other aspects of it that were really quite intriguing.
That braking, though, coming into the corner means that I've now got a new strategy, because I know that Charlie going into the corner in front of me is harvesting. And you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to harvest. I'm going to take him on the inside. I'm going to let him coast him. I'm going to be by him. So strategy, driver strategy, not the engineer, but the driver strategy is going to shine.
Well, I was going to say that, what's the problem here? I mean, people, you have to, there were times when you had to save fuel, you had to save your tires. This is just another element. Now, is the whole formula of extremely complex? Yes, I think it's too complex and so forth. But as John was saying, maybe it has to be. I don't know, but I think they'll make adjustments, and the drivers, like if Max really, really hates it, then he'll just go racing in WEC and stuff and enjoy himself there. I mean, fine. I mean, that's just the way it goes. We're all individuals. Like, we have different opinions of certain things, and then we're still friends. It's just like you just live your own life and go on with things. So, I just think people need to relax, give it some time. Things will adjust. The FIA seems to be willing to adjust. So let's see what happens. Other notes, the VSC. I've always wondered why they can't do a WEC style press a button to initiate. You're going this amount of speed, within, like, you get the saying the virtual safety car warning comes up. You have 5 seconds to press that button and go 90 kilometers an hour. Because it seems to me that this Delta system, someone always loses out. For instance, Lewis is really close to Charles. Then the VSC happens, and then the VSC ends, and he's 3 seconds behind. And that kind of thing seems to happen all the time with the VSC.
Mm-hmm.
So amongst all this technology, I find it very odd that they don't have a WEC style. Let's all go the same speed and try to maintain our margins. Have you guys noticed that, or has it never been an issue for you?
Didn't Max get a jump on somebody yesterday on one of the restarts? Mm-hmm. I think he ended up really close to somebody in front of him. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's part of the just this part of the racing is people who are really good under VSC and others who are caught napping.
It's true, exactly. Like Max is a strategy maximizer, so he's going to do well under strategy. I mean, again, John and I have talked about racers who have like a big, huge vision. Like they seem to see the entire race from beginning to end, even though they're at the start. And Max is one of those guys. Marc Marquez is one of those guys. Like, I know what's going to, I know all the factors. I'm keeping it all in mind. But I just think it goes back to my rant about when they eliminated aggregate timing because it's too complicated for the for the viewers to understand. And so we got, IndyCar style yellow flags, where we used to get a yellow and then people would, I remember Lacey being like 5 seconds ahead of Mansell. And then there was some kind of flag system. And so Mansell was right behind him on the track. But technically, he was still 5 seconds behind.
Right.
He had to go past him to get, and they eliminated that. And I think my problem with VSC is probably still my decades old problem with them eliminating that.
Mm-hmm.
So
that didn't make sense to me either. I mean, seriously. Yeah. I mean, the aggregate time. Look, it's a spectator sport. It is a spectator sport.
Yeah.
And now, even if you're at the track, you don't know who the hell's where. That's kind of annoying. And you'll have a commentator saying, Lacey's all over Patrese, but you know what? Patrese is behind him in the time.
Yeah.
And then tough on the driver too. The concentration to drive is, I can't even fathom what it would be like. The concentration to drive those cars. Yes, you have some time to think. You do. I mean, you hear the stories about them looking up at the screen to figure out where the guys are behind them. So there is time every now and again, but the concentration's insane. So,
and you, as a racer, as a guy who's actually raced, like when I put on the VR headset and hop into Montreal in a Formula V type of car, my biggest challenge is putting 10 laps together without sliding off somewhere. It's super, super challenging.
Yeah.
No, everything. I don't have any aids, no traction control and everything. It's just you just have to be very precise, and you have to be almost like you have adrenaline going through you, but you have to be relaxed and calculating and so forth.
Exactly.
And that's why I was so impressed by the rookie Lindblad. Like, he just did so well. And the other thing that really stood out to me is, did you see the timing where they're not showing 1,000ths anymore?
I thought that was a good idea. That's
you think
really?
It is? Yeah.
No, it's
why is that?
I just want to see, like, the 10th of a second is enough for me to you register the gap more quickly, I guess. I don't know. That was one of the things that stood out to me because I like to watch I'm always watching the gaps. I'll just
Oh yeah.
almost looking at the numbers more than I'm looking at the screen sometimes. And it just looked like, especially when Max was coming up on Norris, that you could see it go. It's 0.6 of a second versus 0.7 of a second, just registers more quickly.
Right. Well, I did notice it. For me, I thought they did it because it took up less screen real estate as a designer. But I don't know. I'm just used to the three. I like to see, because sometimes the differences are like when they're doing hundreds, I guess a thousandths, I can see, but anyways, John, you have thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, I like seeing as many digits as you're willing to give me. But that probably has something to do with also consistency. And one of the best parts about racing was every session that I ever did, the first thing that I did after I'd relaxed just a little bit was I'd walk up to the timing and scoring, and I'd get the sheet of everybody's time, and they'd have everybody's time for everybody for every single lap. And I could look at it and I could see where my consistency was. And they needed it right away because I wanted to say, I didn't have telemetry. I didn't have something logging for me. I didn't have an engineer saying, you're lifting too early for two, and yeah. And so I try and piece together those laps in my time.
Well, even I don't know if you watch the MotoGP press conferences, but that's what the riders do. They're always got the sheets and they're looking after every session, very specifically. So, but I brought it up, but it's not a big deal to me. Like, I'm not, oh my God, this is, the end of the world kind of thing. It's just, I'm used to the old system. So, especially in qualifying.
I'm on a treadmill when I'm watching the races, so the bigger numbers help me.
Yeah, that's a factor. Did they have the 3 in qualifying at least?
I don't know.
Because it's more important in qualifying for sure. Yeah. So
my big disappointment of the whole race was the Canadian team. The Canadian team shows up. They've hired Adrian Newey. They've got the master, who I consider possibly the best driver on the track, just because I'm an old guy, and I think he's a wily old, very, very, very fast Alonso. And then they've just completely went because of problems with drivetrain. And you know what? My partner said to me today, which I found very interesting. She said, it's not, I'm not going to get into it. It's just not good. And that's not who Aston Martin should be. They've got all the money in the world. They've got Adrian Newey. They've got Honda, which up until McLaren, it would take them one season and they'd be out front. Yeah. Until the last McLaren iteration, right? Mm-hmm. And then they brought it back and did it with Red Bull. So, it's just frustrating. And now talking about nerve damage driving the car. Yeah.
Well, my take on this whole thing is, first off, I kind of disagree with you about Adrian Newey. I think he's a great designer, but he has lost against Rory Byrne. Then people say, well, that was Michael. That wasn't Rory. That was Michael. He lost against whoever designed Acosta, the Mercedes. Well, that was the Mercedes engine. That wasn't the designer. It's Newey always gets the benefit of the doubt. I think this is an MP418 thing all over again, where he built a car that was so radical it didn't work. It worked the next season. It actually never ran. They had to run the car before. I think maybe it ran 1 or 2 races, but he learned a lot of lessons from that. And then he built a great car for the next season. I think that this particular car that he's built, he was 3 months behind, is just too much. And I think Honda was behind as well. Adrian requested a change a few months ago. I just don't think it's all Honda's fault. I don't think it's all Adrian's fault. And I think the one thing that may sour me about Adrian Newey, and this has happened in Red Bull, is I don't think he handles people very well. The way he blamed Renault when they switched to the new rules, the way he it's just never his fault. And the way I just think it's a mistake for Aston Martin to give him a team principal role. I think they should have put him in as a designer and let team principals do team principal things. And claiming that they had no idea that the staff that designed the other Honda engine had dispersed when he was at Red Bull is a claim that I just don't understand whatsoever. So is it a disaster? Yeah, kind of. Will they fix it eventually? Sure, I think so. And to me, that's just where it starts and ends, and we'll see how it works out.
It's all Honda's fault. It's all Honda's fault. It's all Honda's fault. Where's the vibration coming from? Where is the vibration coming from?
Yeah, but the vibration on the dyno it has to integrate with the chassis, and Adrian has refused to. He says, I'm not going to change anything. And he's built it very tight again, just like the MP14 at P418, which caused problems with the engine. And the McLaren that the size 0 that overheated the engine. Eventually they didn't do size 0. And what happens? The engine's not overheating anymore. So I think when Lotus years ago integrated the engine and the chassis, it's a dual thing to me. And I think it's a problem for both of them, and they both have to solve it. What do you think, Charlie?
Don't they? It's an Aston Martin gearbox.
That's another could be a factor.
I think they said McLaren designs the battery pack that they're using for this car. I can't remember exactly.
It's a Honda battery, though.
Oh, is it a Honda battery?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it just seems bizarre. Like, I know that say what you will about Christian Horner. Somebody had said that, well, what do you think of him being, or Adrian Newey being the team principal? They said that was a really odd decision because he's not a people person.
Yeah, that's what Horner said.
Yeah. And which pissed Adrian off. That's one of the reasons he took off from Red Bull. But go on.
But
sorry,
I think that Lawrence Stroll might have just said, whatever I need to do to get this guy on my team, I'll do it. And it might be that Adrian was asking for more control than he possibly should have been given. But I hope that they turn it around. I think Honda said that they hope to have some sort of upgrade for Suzuka.
Right.
But yes. And I see all these people slamming Honda. I mean, they did just win 4 world championships prior to last year. So I mean, that's but are they the same designers though? It's hard to say, because a lot of them like, who knows, maybe the RBPT engine could almost be seen as a / Honda because they have so many of their personnel there.
Yeah.
So it's a mess. Really.
But it's not Honda. It's not Honda. It's not Honda. It's Honda money. It's just like Ford. It's not a Ford engine. It's it's a bunch of in Ford's case, it's a bunch of British designers that are putting it all together. A team that they put together. It's Ford's money. It's like the GT40 was not a Ford. It was a Lola.
Yeah.
So it's I guess we can say it's the Aston Martin power plant that is, or powertrain that is failing it. Is there a way to buffer it in a way? Is there a way to make it so it's not transmitting that vibration? I mean, that's basically what it takes. It's not overheating.
No, but they had to put those. They had to change the chassis so that the air could come out. Bottom line is, none of us are engineers. None of us are close to this. We're just speculating. Like you said, Charlie, I just hope it works out. I don't really care whose fault it is. I just think that I just have a distaste for Adrian Newey's management style, not his design thing, his management style.
How do you know his management style?
because it's been talked about by different people, not just Christian. And he made statements. Adrian made statements during the when they were bagging on Renault when they started losing to Mercedes about threatening to leave the sport and stuff. And I just thought, I can't stand this kind of stuff. So I just don't like him as a manager. And I thought it was a mistake for Aston Martin to put him in that role. But we'll see how it all works out. I could be 100% wrong. That's all I can really say. That's my opinion, but what it's worth is not much, probably.
You think Lance Stroll is a guy that can help pull a team? It just seems half of the garage. Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I think his response to this has been really mature, and he's got a sense of humor about it.
I also think that his father's done a very good job at supplying him with teammates that very few people are going to get near. How do you think Hadjar would do against Vettel? How do you think Behrman would do against Alonso?
Yeah.
I guess what I'm thinking, though, I'm thinking from the perspective of we got a situation where this car is not working anywhere near what we need it to be. Is he the guy who's going to give you the feedback that you need to get it on the right track? Like, sure, Fernando will, despite his personality. But Lance, he's just such a sourpuss. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
We don't know, but I find that often. Sorry.
There isn't any coverage of Lance's input with the team, because anytime anything comes up, it's always he's only there because Daddy's bought him a seat.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And to have to live with that would be just. I would be grumpy too.
Yeah, it's true. I will say that two other things I want to bring up. Do you think Antonelli will trouble Russell this season? I do. What do you think? Say it verbally.
That was a heck of a performance, especially having to rebuild that whole car, and then that's a testament to Mercedes and to Antonelli that they were able to pull a second place out of all that. That was pretty remarkable.
I think that Antonelli is a multiple world champion.
Yeah, I do too. In Italian F4 just a few seasons ago.
Yeah.
And the way he's driving already after a season, pretty incredible. I just think he's got quite a future. So,
and he's smooth.
The other thing is Colapinto. I don't think. I mean, we're talking about Lance, whether he belongs in F1. I mean, he's good enough, but he's been around for a long time. Maybe he should do WEC or something. But I don't think Colapinto belongs in F1. I think he's fast. I think he's really quick. He's had a quick reaction at the start, but I don't think he can put together an entire season without crashing out into someone. What are your guys' thoughts on Colapinto?
Not enough
He's
time.
He's Flavio's guy, isn't he?
Yeah,
he is now. Yeah. Not enough time for you. For you, John, you think you're giving him more time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look at there are two types of drivers that come in. I mean, if you look at Max when he first started out, he was just a complete weapon. How many times did he crash? How many times did he drive into people? It's like Marc Marquez in the early years, right? I just go as fast as I can, and that was too fast. Ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. Same thing with Max. Same thing with Gilles Villeneuve. Same thing with lots of drivers. Now the problem is you have to rein that in somehow. So can he rein it in? If he can rein it in, then he's got a future. I think Hadjar's in the same boat.
Well, I just think he's very crash heavy for me over and over again. He had that great performance with Williams, and ever since then, it's just been a crash fest. So, any other thoughts before next up is China? But any other thoughts about this weekend.
Well, Hadjar, I thought that was one of the biggest stories, is that Red Bull actually have a second driver, it seems. And I don't know if it's because, as John was saying, these cars are more about mechanical grip and less about aero. Maybe it just it works better for a guy like Hadjar. But to see him, qualified third, that's remarkable. That's pretty great.
Yeah, but it's the first race, right? And Red Bull historically, detunes the number 2 car. They don't give them the best bits, and they're there to be a domestique in block form. That's their job. They know it, and it's okay. And I mean, down. I actually watched the full Drive to Survive, and throughout it, they've got probably 8 or 9 clips of hilarity with Horner saying, Zach's going to have to pick a number 1 driver at some point. You can't have them both up there.
Right.
No, that's McLaren doesn't work that way. So, but they do. That's the only way they know. That's the way they've always been.
But it's under different management now, and the management change, the massive, like the turnaround that Max had last season when Christian left. And I know massive. And I know it's unfair to say, if this hadn't happened, but Max had control over his temper, or maybe, he didn't, and he ran into Russell and lost some points. Had he not done that, he would have had another world championship. So the second driver in Red Bull recently hasn't shown, like after Ricardo, it's just been a disaster, basically, until now. I think that given his record last year in the Racing Bulls and how well he did, I think he's going to thrive in Red Bull as well.
Oh, I hope
so. He has the same team
so.
manager he had last year too, for most of it too. So,
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so as well.
Yeah. That the last thing I want to cover is what's going to happen with the Middle East races.
I think they're going to be canceled. Canceled, I think. It hasn't been totally confirmed, but I just think they're going to get rid of them and not bother, which is, not, it's a terrible thing that's happening, of course, but maybe I shouldn't say it, but, less races is better. There's too many of them.
I think they bring back Germany and bring back France, or races that should be on the calendar.
Yeah. I was just going to say, less
racing was created in France.
Less street races is better, right? Like, get back to the courses. This goes back to marketing. Like, street races is all about entertaining the bigwigs and marketing and all that stuff. And as I was saying to John in the MotoGP podcast, sponsorship, it's always been business to B2C and B2B, but now it's B2B with a little bit of B2C. And it's all about entertaining each other's. Yeah. So, the sponsors are not for us. Like, I couldn't tell you, like, I know Google's on the McLaren. I can't really think of many sponsors in F1.
If you think about, I did a list. I did a full list of all the sponsors. I actually did the research and did them all. But anyway, let's not go there. Between the three of us, we have a lot of history watching Formula One, and we all have seen those phenomenal tracks that are not dormant. There's still sports cars racing on them, and there's the world-class courses.
Yes,
I got angry with Formula One going to the Middle East because of it's branding. I mean, what they do and the way they treat their people is evil. And it's trying to gain branding and acceptance around the world. And that's the only reason F1 is there. And they pay through the teeth to get it there.
It's sports washing, right? And, the way that the like going to the States now could be called sports washing. Right. So,
well, wasn't Belgium, what are the 2 races now that are supposed to be alternating? There's Belgium is going to
Spa
be,
is one of them. Yeah.
there's another one. I can't remember what it is, but it's like, no, Belgium should be on the calendar every year.
Like Monaco.
Yeah. And there was a MotoGP race in Thailand at a circuit, but they're going to Thailand in Bangkok on the streets. There's a circuit there that you could go to.
Beautiful circuit.
Yeah. But no, let's go to a street. So
yeah.
And that's Max is very vocal about there's way too many street circuits, and I like the drivers. I mean, as much as the whining is one thing, but saying let's improve the sport and get rid of these street circuits I'm all for that for sure. So
well, a couple like an fine. F1 car looks best at Monza, like they're designed for those tracks. Like that's where you see an F1 car do its thing. Driving around Singapore, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same thing.
You keep Monaco because it's, the history, and it's a massive, like a unique challenge. But, Jeddah, like what's so nice about that circuit? I haven't the slightest idea. Like I couldn't tell you anything about it. Right. So
concrete tunnel, almost the whole circuit, isn't it?
In the Vegas circuit. Oh God.
When was the last time they were at Brands Hatch?
Yeah,
70s or so, wasn't it? Or
it's 80s. A long time. But like, 86. Are we? Where's our cloud? Where's the cloud? Can we yell into it even more?
Oh, with Zandvoort disappearing, I liked Zandvoort. I thought it was kind of neat, but
they got rid of that too.
Calendar. Yeah.
Oh, really?
This is the last year, and it's literally because the sponsor just said we're not willing to pay the money anymore, or the track owners.
Okay, there you go.
Zandvoort,
all right, well,
older.
Yeah, let's give this a rating. Green flag, yellow flag, blue flag, or black flag. I'm giving it a green flag. I really enjoyed it. What about you guys?
Well, you just threw a huge wrench into everything we used to do. Now you want a flag instead of colors. I'm not going to say meatball flag
instead of numbers. What are you guys? What are you giving it, John?
Definitely a green flag. I thought it was fantastic.
Charlie?
Yeah, green? I'd say a green flag. Let's see, a green flag with an asterisk attached to it. Okay. It's just things like Piastri spinning out on the lap to the grid. It looks like the drivers, the torque, I guess, or something with the electrical battery is throwing them off. So
they said it was software.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, but like
it's supposed to come in slowly, and it came in bang full power. You get 500 horsepower like that.
Yeah, you're gone. I'll say that like the yellow flag means like there's parts of the race that were slow and not too great, but there were other parts that were good. So it's a yellow. Blue flag is like, I could just totally pass on this race. And a black flag is this race was a complete joke, which unfortunately happens sometimes. At least I think so. So
didn't you find though that first couple minutes with Russell and Leclerc, that back and forth is something I hadn't seen in a long time. That was pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's why I got into MotoGP, and now John is into MotoGP, because you see that quite a lot, even with the Aero, and it'll be even better next season. So yeah, that's why we all enjoyed this race, right? And then at the end, there wasn't as much dicing, but seeing the Ferraris edge closer to the Mercedes, seeing how that all worked out, the drive backs from Kimi and Max and so forth. So yeah, good race. We'll see what a different circuit brings up. China is a very different circuit, and it has an extremely long back straight. So how the batteries will do there, we'll see. It might be kind of hilarious. It might be a joke.
Ferrari's going to win it. I'm going to predict Ferrari's going to win it with that flippy flappy rear wing.
Yeah, they might use that. Yeah. So, okay, well, it was great talking to you guys, and we'll talk about China next. Cheers. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.